You're listening to a Rock Candy podcast.
Hi, I'm Liam Hooper.
And I'm Peterson Toscano. Together, we co-host the Bible Bash podcast.
The Bible Bash podcast is a monthly podcast where Peterson, a quirky queer Quaker and Northern belle,
and Liam, a trans Bible scholar and Southern gentleman,
get together to examine biblical texts, looking for the characters and situations you don't often hear about.
Each month, we look into a different ancient story. We're curious to find insights into our own queer lives. We discuss these and share our findings with you.
You can find the Bible Bash podcast on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts. New episodes come out at the end of each month.
Bible Bash podcast is part of the Rock Candy Network.
Hello, friends. This is Reese Roper, one of the hosts of Joe and Reese's Pickle and Boot Shop, a diabolical brainwashing machine. I just took all my breath to say that. Who invented this podcast? Anyway, this is my weekly disclaimer. First of all, Joe and I infer that touching other men makes you turn gay. This is not a truth that we uphold. Anyway, Joe says gypped a couple times, which we realize is an ethnic slander, but it's hard to work that out of your vocabulary, and we're both trying to be woke. Other than that, this is just a really funny episode. I hope you hate it.
Joe and Reese, Pickle and Boot Shop. Get yourself a pickle. Get yourself a boot. Joe and Reese, Pickle and Boot Shop. Pickle time is happening. Pickle time. I go down to get some pickles. With your grandma and your kids. I go downtown. With your grandma and your kids. Boot time. Pickle and boot time. Don't be fickle, get your pickle cider, pop a nickel in your boots. Not a place of ill repute. Bring your grandma and your kids. Come for the pickles, stay for the squids. Stay for the squids. Boots. Put that pickle in your pants. Get some boots inside your hands. Put that pickle in your pants. Get some boots inside your hands. 1996, we start this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Joe and Reese's Pickle and Boot Shop, a diabolical brainwashing machine. Hopefully, you guys are getting on the old wagon or off the wagon. Getting on the wagon. You want to get on this wagon. You want to get on the failure puddle wagon.
Yeah, it's not a failure puddle. It's just failure.
It's gone down. It's devolved.
What part is the failure? Maybe the done cue is the failure. So it's just puddle. Because
Yeah,
I have not added alcohol.
No. Oh, there's no alcohol in there. You're
No,
going just
ice.
Canada Dry.
Yeah, I was like, maybe this is what's affecting my short-term memory. Is I've noticed, in moderation, of course, but I've been drinking just about every night.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, maybe I'll feel better if I stop drinking every night. And so far, it's made me feel like crap. I feel awful.
Because it's working through your system. I go through that. I go through like ups and downs.
Okay.
Not like emotional ups and downs. I just mean like where I go ups and downs where it'll just be like, oh, I'll have a drink tonight. And then like tomorrow I'll have a drink and then I'll have another drink and stuff like that. And suddenly I realized I'm like, man, I did like 3 or 4 nights in a row.
Yeah.
Oh, take for instance. So we're recording this on July 7th.
Yeah.
So over the 4th of July, over the last weekend, I was back up north with my family for the 4th of July. And so we got up there on a Thursday. So Thursday, I had some drinks, like had some beers, some ultras. And then Friday, nice slow burn all day. I mean, it was so hot that like, you know, you're sweating it out. You're not really getting
Yeah.
buzzed. So you're just kind of drinking beers all day. Saturday, drinking beers all day. Sunday, having some beers all day. No water.
Ah,
And here in Michigan, it was like 92 degrees with like full humidity.
holy jeez.
Yeah, so I was so dehydrated and I woke up. I got to sleep late Sunday night going into Monday morning.
Wow.
And yeah, so I got to bed at like 2 in the morning and I woke up at like 3:30. So like an hour and a half later, I woke
Oh, no.
up.
I thought
Go
you were
on.
saying you slept like all day and night. I was like,
No,
wow.
no.
Okay, so
No.
you went to sleep, woke up.
So I went to sleep at 2 a.m. Monday morning. And I woke up at like 3:30, 3:45 Monday morning. So I had slept for like an hour and a half, hour, 45 minutes.
Uh-huh.
And I woke up in a panic. I would have to say that this is probably the second biggest panic attack I've ever had in my life. And
Yeah.
the worst one was the first one I ever had. And that was like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I've had some bad ones throughout like my first divorce, and then they went away.
Okay.
And then this weekend, I think it was because I was so dehydrated and then had the sun beating down on me, all this stuff, and then getting to bed late. I woke up with this panic attack in the middle of the night. First, I wake up and the room is completely dark. So I feel like I'm in like a coffin, like that.
Oh, jeez.
Walls are closing in. So I scramble for my phone to turn on like the light, the flashlight to give me some sort of light.
Yeah.
That didn't really help all that much. So I jump out of bed, I flip on the light switch, and I'm dripping with sweat, and my heart's racing, just absolute panic.
Yeah.
And like my brain is going like a million miles an hour. I can't shut it off. I feel like I couldn't breathe. I mean, it was bad. It was on a full-on panic attack for about 40 minutes.
Holy
I had to
cow,
go
dude.
outside. Yeah, I was like outside, like you know, obviously you've been up there, so I was out back and like walking out, like on the deck by the lake, or the dock by the lake,
Yeah.
just pacing and freaking out and like praying like mad, like, am I having a heart attack? Am I gonna die? And then I knew I wasn't. I knew I was having a panic attack, so I was kind of trying to ground myself, but it was so bad. And normally if I have like a little anxiety attack, I can go through these like little steps in my brain and like fix it quickly. And this one was not allowing me on my own physical whatever to stop it.
Jiminy.
Yeah. So I just went through like 40 minutes of like waiting to die, feeling like I wanted to like crawl out of my own skin. And then like since my body was just going a million miles an hour, it just gave out. So I just like laid down on the couch. I was like, I'm not going back in the bedroom. I tried. I laid down for like 8 seconds and had to jump back up because it all came back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I laid down on the couch and just turned on like a TV show, like a season, and just started watching that. And that was at like 4 o'clock. And then I was up until about 8. So I sat there watching TV for 4 hours, not
Jeez.
going to sleep. And then finally at like 8 o'clock, sometime around 8 o'clock, I fell asleep. It just zonked out. And then I woke up because my sister was calling me at like 9:30. So
Mhm.
it was the weirdest thing. All that being said, because I believe like it was like the alcohol. So on Monday day, I was like, I am not drinking. Like I had 2 more days of vacation left. I was like, I'm not drinking a drop. So it was like water, Gatorade, these like hydration packets, that you put in water and stuff, kind of like stuff that you put in there for like post-workout or pre-workout kind of things. So I was drinking those, just trying to get as much water hydration in me, like no coffee that day, no nothing. It was just Gatorade, water with these like supplement kind of things in it. It was
Cripes.
brutal. And then I
Yeah.
actually had to take a Xanax too. For legality purposes, it was a prescription that I had and didn't get from anybody. And I took a Xanax, and that totally helped. Like that took all those jitters and all that stuff that I was having the whole day away. But Yeah, so that was crazy. So that's my big story with you just talking about not having Don Q in your glass. That
That's
took me on
crazy,
that
dude.
tangent. Yeah. But every now and then I got to do that. I just got to pull back. I noticed that with COVID. With
Uh-huh.
COVID, I put on like 20 pounds during COVID. And during COVID, I had to go off keto because just the grocery stores weren't full of like food. So you kind of had to eat what you had to eat.
What you had to forage for in your yard.
Exactly, pretty much.
Here.
So, you know, you would go to the grocery store and chicken was gone and like most of the beef and stuff was gone. Maybe you could
Toilet
get some every
paper,
now
you
and
couldn't
then.
eat that. You know, you used to be able
Yeah.
to make some pretty good paper mache
Yeah.
meals.
Right.
that's
Right,
gone.
exactly. Yeah. So I was like eating like mac and cheese with the rest of the family. So
Mhm.
stuff that I didn't normally eat. And then that and just drinking out of boredom. Just if I didn't have my kids, I was just drinking.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I might as well watch Star Wars and get a buzz. And then the next day, oh, I might as well watch Star Trek and get a buzz. And then it was just something every day. And suddenly 20 pounds later, I'm like, I think I got to stop this.
Stargate, Star
Yes,
Wars,
yes.
Star
Yeah.
Trek,
Yeah.
Starman. You watched
Dancing
them
with the
all.
Stars.
The
Yeah.
Last Starfighter.
Yeah. Oh, Last Starfighter was
Perfect.
good.
Hey,
Yeah,
they're
so that's
making a
that.
sequel to it.
I
Have
know.
you heard this?
I
I'm
have
so
heard
excited, man.
it. I am too.
I am
I
so
really am too.
excited.
Yep. That's one of the things that I remember the most, like the Death Blossom. I have used the term. Remember Death Blossom in the game
No.
in the movie Last Starfighter, where when the spaceship just started spinning like a gyroscope and shooting in all
Oh,
directions.
yeah.
That was called, I believe, unless I've been
Death
thinking
Blossom.
this. Yeah, I think it was called Death Blossom, and so
Maybe it's time to revisit The Last Starfighter.
yeah, and so when all hope was lost, it was like you push the red button and it made like the spaceship do Death Blossom. That's what we always called it. Maybe that wasn't it. Maybe that's what we called it. But
Yeah.
that was cool. So all that to say, you've eliminated the Don Q from the failure puddle.
Yeah, but I do feel like crap. I like I'm not sleeping very well and I feel like garbage. And I don't know if it's just not sleeping well. So here's one of the things is that being in 5-iron, I just abused my body. So I dislocated. I think we've talked about this. You can see it in the All That Is Good video. I do this role coming into this building where we're playing the part of like people breaking in, and then we're like setting up and doing our own video. So we're
Okay.
sneaking in. I do a roll, and you see me get up holding my arm. Well, it had popped out of joint.
Ooh.
And I just remember being like, this hurts real bad, but I gotta get up and act like like my arm works.
Because that's what real actors do.
And I got
It's
up
what's for dinner.
holding it and kept on being like, we're sneaking into this building. And then I was just like, oh, this hurts really bad. And I went to just be like, hey, I gotta go get help because I can't move my arm. And it just went like just clicked back in, and it hurt so bad. But then I was like, okay, my arm works again. But then
Holy
it just,
cats.
I found out later in life that I have, I went to see an orthopedic guy about this, and they do x-rays and all this stuff. And he's like, yeah. Well, the good news is you're probably not going to get arthritis very bad in these joints. The bad news is you have this thing called hyperlaxity in your joints where they just pop out. So my shoulders, both of them have popped out, but my left one,
Is that why your arms are longer than most people's?
I don't know what it is.
Because they're popped out all the time.
That's why it's like an extra 3 inches because
That's
it's
right.
hanging loose in the socket.
If my car keys are just out of reach, I can pop my arm out of the socket and get them.
So but
Do
it
the
used to
listeners
be-
know this? Do the listeners know that your arms are longer than the average
I
bear?
think we've talked about this too.
Have
like
we?
So you're supposed to be an average person is if you put your arms out like on like the door frame and measure how far you are from fingertip to fingertip. supposed to be your height, but mine is 6'7", and I'm only 5'12". So very confusing. It's very confusing.
That is hilarious.
A lot of numbers.
So, like, wasn't it like that Da Vinci drawing where it's like the dude standing like a star, and then like the circle is around him? So it kind of shows that your height should be your wingspan, but like
Mine is an oval.
yeah, you just destroy whatever Da Vinci came up with.
Well,
All physics go out the window.
It would have been good for basketball if I was coordinated enough to play basketball. But in high school, I was a swimmer. You know, I was like captain of the swim team, and I dove too. I was like a springboard diver. This is stupid. This is a stupid segue, but like, what was really important to my dad was lettering, and he wanted me to play football, and I was too small and had no idea what was going on. Like, it was before Madden, so you couldn't be like, "Oh, I know what a nickel package is." It was just like me getting my ass beat every day, just getting hammered,
Just
and being
Rudy
like,
style.
also, they were just like, I got the worst pads, like the ones that nobody wanted. So they were like full on like nose tackle pads. I weighed about 80 pounds. My helmet didn't fit. Like everything was too big on me. And then I couldn't move. I could barely turn my head, and they just beat the shit out of me every day. But my dad was really obsessed with me getting a letter.
You
And
making the
so-
pros.
I gotta make it pros. But he was like, all right, you're playing football, you know, and you should try and get a letter. He lettered like when he was a senior, I think, because they just gave everybody letters. But his dad was like a football star. He got to play like college football. So it was a big deal to my dad. And my dad's brothers were all, you know, like they all went to college on scholarships. I think most of them. Like my uncle went to Ball State, and it was a big deal. So
Yeah.
my dad is like, he looks like he's going to be a football player, which was not the case. Like now I'm kind of a decent size, but then
Your mom's like, no, he looks like he's going to be a Neanderthal because those knuckles are just dragging. Looks like he's going to be a sloth.
So I had done swimming. I was like on a team when we lived in Indiana, and so I was like, I want to do swim team. That sounds fun. And went out to swim team, and
I'm sure
noticed-
every listener, me included, right now, as soon as you said swim team, pictured you in a Speedo. Continue.
yeah. Well, I'll
I
send
bet
you
you
a
filled
picture,
it out
Joe.
real good. I mean, I don't want to
It was
get
like-
weird. I don't want to get weird, but I bet you filled it out good.
If you've ever seen somebody smuggling grapes, that's what it looked like.
If you've ever seen somebody with a can of tennis balls,
Have you ever seen that?
cookie dough. If you've ever had a roll of sugar cookie dough shoved in the front of your pants, that starts to paint the picture of what I look like in a Speedo. And I don't know why I suddenly have this accent.
If ever you've seen somebody drop a Vienna sausage down their pants, or a gummy worm,
That just begins. That's the tip of the iceberg. All right, so go on. Swim team.
so I noticed when I was swimming, I was number one, not at all the fastest guy, and I was like, I'm not going to letter this year as a freshman, but you had to have swimming. It was like swimming and diving, and the two divers we had, you could have unlimited divers depending on, you know, like how many people went to your high school. Ours only had two at the time, and I was like, these guys are both seniors.
And one was Don Cheadle.
One was Don Cheadle. No, they were both seniors. So I was like, this is it. Like, I will letter if I do this, because there's only three of us. Plus, those
Yeah.
guys are gone next year. I'll be the only diver. So I was like, I'm going to do
Girls
both.
were like, yeah. I don't know what that means.
No, I don't think they were.
I
They
don't
were
know
like,
what- I don't know what I
"Well,
was implying there.
why is the
No.
guy who always talks like Pee Wee Herman diving now? so So I took up diving and still swam. And this is the long story of this is that like
We love it. We love it.
I was 2 points away from lettering as a freshman in diving. But then the cool thing was every year after that, I got to letter in both swimming and diving. And then
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so I ended up lettering like 8 times.
Now I see your arms is so long that when you're in the lane, you could have
Yeah.
grabbed the ropes and just
Yes.
pulled yourself along.
Which is illegal. It will disqualify you. But I did.
You could be like, I was breaststroking.
I swam butterfly, which is like the one where you come out with both arms and you kind of
Yeah, I thought that was the breaststroke.
Breaststroke is like the one where you just see people's heads bobbing up and down, and it's like they're
I
doing
thought
a
that was-
frog kick.
I thought that was
There's something else.
I thought that was something else.
So I swam butterfly, and I could hear it sometimes if I was just like a little bit out of the middle of the lane. It would just go crack, crack. Just my knuckles just hitting the lane lines.
That's
But that-
hilarious.
That was the thing is like I could do diving, which I practiced most of the time, and then swimming, which I practiced a little because I had these huge arms. And I figured out a way that I could hyperventilate. Well,
Okay.
because of my wingspan, I like had a natural advantage. So
Okay.
had I focused on that, I think I could have gone to college for swimming, which is hard. Like I got offered to be on teams and partial scholarships because I could swim and dive, but it was to smaller schools. Like
Did you
Findlay,
shave your
University of
body?
Findlay, a couple times, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Shave your head? Or did you wear a bathing
Did
cap?
not shave my head. I had luxurious blonde hair, and I did not want to mess with that. So
Just
swim
so-
cap
You wore a swim cap? So you wore a swim cap and a Speedo.
and a Speedo. Yeah.
Were they like the boxer brief Speedos
No,
or were they
those did
straight
not
panties?
exist. They did not exist. It was just
They
the
were just
panties.
the panties?
Mhm.
Man.
Yeah.
I bet there's some fools right now that are going to be knocking out some memes.
Mm.
Just some nice memes with your face
Check out
on
these
some
great
swimmers. Yep, on some swimmers, on some Speedo pics that probably aren't real Speedo pics. Like,
You know,
you know, they're probably not on a real swimmer. They're probably on an adult actor.
David
what I mean?
Hasselhoff. if you
David
know what I'm saying.
Hasselhoff. Yeah.
Is he an adult? Yeah, I
Ish.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best video ever was David Hasselhoff eating that cheeseburger drunk, and his daughter.
Oh, Yeah.
I mean, it's heartbreaking because his daughter's
daughter
like
"Please,
dad.
Dad."
Yeah,
Stop it.
I'm gonna go live with mom if you keep eating In and Out like that. Don't disrespect In and Out.
Give me back my hamburger.
Yeah, and
I
it
was
just,
Knight Rider.
he takes a bite and it just poops out the back of the burger, like all the insides just poop out it. And he's trying to pick it up and he's like mouth breathing and he's trying to eat the burger. Oh my gosh, it's fantastic. David
I asked for
Hasselhoff.
animal stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And people, if you want to hear a fantastic song about David Hasselhoff, a band that we have talked about before, Bloomington, Indiana's own Johnny Sacco.
Oh,
So
yeah.
look up Johnny Sacco, David Hasselhoff. It's off their Full Trucker Effect album. And we're going to be
Oh.
playing that on the top of the hour.
Top
After
40
a word from
coming
our
up.
sponsors. Top 40. Coming up, it's Chad the Buzzsaw.
Chad the Buzzsaw Johnson.
And you're
If
listening
you want to hear a
K101.
good David Hasselhoff song, listen to the song or watch the video True Believer. It's so friggin' amazing.
By David Hasselhoff?
Yeah. So have you seen the movie Kung Fury?
No.
Yes. It is on YouTube. I think the entire thing. Watch it tonight.
Okay.
It will change your life.
Is that anything like Enter the Fist? Kung Pao. What was that called?
Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Did you see that movie?
Kind of. Yes, I
That was-
love that movie.
That was one of the insiders, our band's favorite movies. We
So
would watch
good.
that over and over and over on the bus. Loved it.
So good.
Taco
Betty.
Bell, Taco. Here comes the mayor. The mayor. The mayor's coming. The mayor.
You will
Oh.
call me Betty.
Betty, Betty, Betty.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not seen the movie Kung Pao Enter the Fist, it's Steve Odenkirk. Is it Steve Odenkirk or Rob Odenkirk?
Steve Odenkirk, yeah.
Yeah. And he writes it, and basically what they did is they took an old 1960s kung fu movie and they put themselves, like they digitally put Steve Odenkirk in the movie, and then some other stuff. It's hilarious, but it's an original movie. If you can get it on Blu-ray, on DVD, there's usually like a special, there's the special features menu, and then
Yeah.
it'll show how it took the old movie and then they put these guys in it, and it's freaking hysterical.
It is. Absolutely. And also watch Kung Fury. That's our recommendations to you. Yeah.
So with this episode, we wanted to talk. We wanted to continue our talk with relationships and or fights on tour. And
Mhm.
so I think a lot of people have heard of the fights. So we'll save that for the second part of the podcast. We'll save that maybe for the paid
Yeah.
portion, a little bit juicier material. So if you haven't signed up as a Patreon, you need to, because we're gonna dish some dirt. I don't hold back. Those kind
Yeah.
of things. So but relationship wise,
Yes.
now when you think relationship, when we were going to talk relationships on this episode, what's your definition of like relationship? Like people in the band, people that you've met along the way? Are you talking girls you've met, like relationships that way? What's your
Well-
definition of the topic, or is it all the above?
Yeah, no, I think when we were brainstorming, we just put like relationships on the road, and you would put bandmates, other bands, groupies, management, etc. That kind
You
of
like how I put
encompasses
groupies
everything.
when I had zero?
Are you sure?
Positive.
All right. I mean, like, not groupies in the sense that like ladies that would show up and have
No, because we had
sexual
Kyle and
intercourse.
Bo. We
Oh,
had
yeah,
Kyle
they
and
got
Bo
the
in the
ladies.
band. So yeah, when you're standing next to Kyle and Bo, that nobody's looking at the big bald German.
You could
They
look
were
at
looking
me,
at Bo
man.
McCarthy, and they were looking at Kyle, and then Kyle would open his mouth, and then they'd look at Bo.
Yeah.
So like the girls would go up to Kyle would open his mouth, and then they'd be like, "Ugh," and then they would go like, you know what? Maybe all these other girls that are standing around Bo have the right idea, and then they would continue to get around Bo, and then those girls' older brothers that brought them to the show would gravitate towards me.
That's yeah.
So then I was an 18-year-old dude after shows talking to 28-year-old dudes, just wishing I played bass
Yeah.
and had that hairline.
He does have magnificent hair.
Oh, beautiful plumage.
Yeah.
That salad is amazing up on top there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I was saying is we could talk about all of the above, all these things.
Yeah.
So like
yeah,
you go ahead.
No. You ask what you're going to ask. I
Well, I
always
was just
talk.
going to say what like in the insiders, did you have favorites? Did you have favorite guys in the band that you always hung out with that
Oh,
you
that's a
got
good
along
question.
with better?
Yeah. So for me, Nate and I started as like best friends, and we were like, the two like pretty much founding members.
Yeah.
So Nate was always that guy who I just had a connection with. Like I still do to this day. We cannot talk for months, and then all of a sudden we'll see something, we'll start chatting, or we might meet up once a year to chit chat and have a good time. And it seems like no time has passed. Like he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
And so me and him were always, you know, good friends and almost like a brotherhood. But then Bram, our trumpet player, he was like my friend. So Nate was kind of like the brother, but we didn't always have to be together. When we were together, we had a great time together. But Nate's kind of schedule and the stuff that he liked doing was different than like me. And so Bram and I, he was more of like a best friend to me. And what's funny is he was more of a best friend, but I haven't, like, I see Bram like every 3 years. I never see him, never talk to him, nothing. But me and him were closest in the band. Like me and him were roommates. So whenever we had to like, you know, buddy up, it was always me and Bram. We had a good time together. If you talk to him, he's probably like, oh, I hated the time that I spent with Joe. But in my mind, I think we were good
We're
friends.
gonna have to interview him.
Yeah, we will. It's probably completely different. Like all these years, I probably thought that like Bram was like my best friend, and we just don't talk to each other anymore. And he's like, yeah, there's a reason. Like I couldn't stand you. I'm guessing that's probably what he's gonna say. Yeah, he was like, oh my gosh, I hate this guy. But
Well,
yeah,
so-
yeah.
Like when you guys divvied up hotel rooms, did you usually get your own bed?
Well, I mean, the people have heard the story, you know, so at the beginning, you kind of get 1 or 2 hotel rooms and you cram as many people in them as you can.
Somebody
So
sleeping in the bathtub.
yeah, or it's like, you know,
Mhm.
2 guys, you learn real quick, like, you know, again, I don't think I'm saying anything that's like gonna hurt feelings, because it was just the time and the way culture was, American culture, that in the 90s, you know, to show any like anything that was like remotely like what you would consider gay, it was like, oh, you can't do that. Like, oh my gosh, you can't sleep with your friend in the same bed because I'm not gay. You know,
Yeah.
it was like that type of thing. But you realize real quick when you're out on tour that like that goes out the window. Like I'm not sleeping on a floor. You sleep on a floor for all of 4 minutes. And then you're like, you know what? I'm not going to be putting my wiener anywhere near anybody else, my bare wiener. And they're not going to be putting their bare wiener anywhere near me. And even if they did, like, you know, the lights are off, it all feels the same. and so like, real
in
cool.
the dark, fellas.
Yeah, you know, yeah. It could, for all intents and purposes, it could have been a woman. I didn't know, but so you last about 4 minutes on the floor of a hotel, and you're
Yeah.
like, forget this. I'm getting in bed, and that's all there is to it. So when the Insider started, it was like we were 2 guys to a bed because we would get 2 rooms. So then 2 guys on 1 queen, you know, because there's 2 beds in a hotel. So it would be like 4 guys in a room, 4 and 4. And that's just how it was. And then when we started like making more money and like doing more stuff, then it was like we get 4 hotel rooms. You know, it was like, now that wasn't every show. That was like bigger shows where it was like, oh, cool, we get, you know, 4 hotel rooms. And yes, then it was like Bram and I, like everybody got their own bed. But Bram and I, if we had to sleep in the same bed, prior to Bram, I think I slept with Mike Rowland. So like when Al
Mike
Brown
your
was our
cuddle buddy, and then you just
Yeah.
moved over to his sister.
Yes. So when Mike Rowland was in the band, I believe he was like my bunkmate. So I think I
Cuddle
slept with
buddy
him.
is the word.
Yeah, cuddle buddy. And then he left and we got Sang, and I don't know if I slept with Sang for I don't ever remember sleeping with Sang, but then all of a sudden, maybe, oh, you know what? Al left first. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. So I was with Mike, and then Al left and Bram came, and then me and Bram started. And
Okay.
so Yeah. So then I was with Bram from just then on out. So it would, Nate would get the keys or whatever to the hotel rooms, and he would just be like, Joe and Bram. And then he'd be like, who else
Everybody
is,
got the
who,
same.
yeah.
Yep.
Like other people would be like, for a while, it was like, who's with whom, things like that. Different guys would do different, switch it up every night to be with someone else and to chit chat with somebody else. But like Bram and I, it was just always, Joe, you and Bram, here are your keys.
It seemed
So-
like, well, okay. This just triggered a memory that it seemed like for a year or two when 5 Iron started, you could ask hotels for rollaway beds. And I don't know if we just hit it correctly. Like we were just going to the right hotels because they're like, yeah, how many do you want? And you'd be like, 4? 2? And they bring in these rollaway beds, which were just small beds, and you could put it in between the other beds. It was like for kids,
Sure.
when people used to take their kids and they'd be like, my kid kicks me. Can we get a rollaway bed for this kid?
Yeah.
Or they
right.
they wet the bed. I'm going to put them in it. So then, he put Andy in it because he wets the bed or whatever.
Yeah.
And he doesn't wet the bed. I think I'm the only
I think you were
bed wetter.
projecting. You were projecting.
Yeah. But like, I don't know if there was some sort of OSHA regulation or something that passed because it seemed like it stopped overnight where
Yeah.
all of a sudden they're like, no, that's a fire hazard. You can't do it. And I'm like, this is not going to stop me if there's a fire. Like,
Right.
what's going to
Believe me,
stop
I
me
will
is
get
not
out.
sleeping.
Right.
I'll just be like, let the flames engulf me.
Yeah.
I'm
Let them
done.
lick my toes. I am getting sleep.
I am done. But we had like kind of a similar thing in that, like for the first couple years, it was just jamming people into hotels or sleeping at somebody's house or sleeping in the van. But then we got to a point where we were able to ask in our rider for hotels. And, like in typical 5 Iron-ness, Frank was just like the voice of reason. So he'd say, this is how much a hotel is going to cost you guys over a tour. If you add one more room, it's going to cost you. And it ended up being, because we'd go out for like 2 months. So if you're
Yeah.
getting one extra hotel room for about $80 a night times 60, it ends up being like $10,000.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, well, we'll just do 3. And it was the same thing. Like Brad and Andy they still, even if we have the space, they still sleep in the same bed together. They are cuddle buddies. And I tried sleeping with Keith. I think I tried sleeping with everybody, like Keith and Scott and Andy. But you're just laying there all night being like, oh my God, I just touched this guy. And you're like worried about it, not sleeping.
Am I gay? Am I gay now?
Did that
I
just turn
touched-
me gay?
I just touched him. Am I gay?
Yeah, you are. That's
And
how
you gotta
it happens.
you gotta like turn on Skinamax and be like, nope, I'm not gay. I still
Furiously
like the
watching Skinamax.
Yeah.
Hey, can you turn that off? No, I'm
I gotta
over
make
here
sure I'm
trying
not
to
gay.
disprove a theory that you guys have, where my inner voice has that I'm gay. I just got turned gay by touching my wiener to Keith.
I think it grazed him
This is
during the
science.
night. Yeah. But no, the female form still works.
Still works. No, but like I remember like the first year trying that and then being like, I am so tired of this. And then for a while you'd just be like, maybe somebody will sleep on the floor, or maybe because it ended up being so we had Leonore in the band, and
Mhm.
we were just like, you can't. So the only reason she didn't get her own room was, one, we're impoverished, but two, because Micah was her cousin. So we're just like, you two can have one of the rooms. So Micah lucked the fuck out because
Yeah.
he got a bed every night because of this. And like, I don't blame him, and I'm not at all jealous, but I'm like, you know, it was a good thing. And then Leonore always got her own bed because of this. So
yeah, and see, I always tried to be chivalrous when we were on tour. I was always like, Leonore can sleep in my room. Like, she can sleep in my bed with me. But that just, it never
very
went
kind of
over
you, Joe.
well.
no,
It never, and she never took me up on it. She never took me up on it. I was always like, hey, you know, if you get tired of the guys and stuff like that, by all means, I'm a chivalrous gentleman.
yeah,
You
Very
know,
nice.
with a
very
with a
very nice
warm
of you.
with a warm touch, and a cold nose, warm heart, and she never took me up. She never took me up on it. So
What the heck?
I just wanted to get that out there.
Well, yeah. So that's terrible, Joe.
I know.
She and Micah each got a bed, and then so it left 6 of us. And because of our writer, we eliminated that 4th room. Sometimes we would get it, like it would just somehow work out. They'd just be like, "Oh, I thought you guys need an extra room," so they
Right,
got it
exactly.
or whatever. So then you'd get your own bed. But like, it ended up just Brad and Andy slept together in one bed, so they were fine. So it was like Brad and Andy and Dennis in the other bed, and then it was Keith and I and Sonny. You know, at first it was Keith and I and Scott, and then Keith and I and Sonny, and we just decided like nobody's getting sleep when we're doing this cuddling thing. So let's just make a deal that we'll just rotate. Somebody will bring a sleeping bag, and I think I had like a Thermarest pad. I think maybe the other guys did too, or we just shared it. So you put
What's a
this-
Thermarest pad?
So Coloradans, being Coloradans, you have acquired a considerable amount of camping equipment, and it's just given to you like at bar mitzvahs or as a handout at birthday parties or whatever. They're just like, here is your REI tent, your 6-man
Okay.
tent, your camping stove. So now we had these Thermarests, which is like, it's a kind of really skinny backpacking, or you can get a bigger one, but it's like a self-inflating air mattress. And it's
Okay.
about, I want to say it's about 2 or 3 inches thick.
Inflated.
The whole idea, yeah, but it's so much better than sleeping on the cold, dead floor.
Yeah.
So,
Of a hotel room.
yeah,
That
which
is
is
just-
usually like that
Ooh.
glued down like carpet that's about, like 6 millimeters thick.
Yeah.
So we would rotate whoever would sleep on the floor. We did that for about the first year that Sonny was in the band.
He was like,
And
man, I'm glad
then-
I joined this band.
Well, so in Jeffries, I don't think they got hotels. So it was still maybe a step up.
Okay.
Or they were all like in one room, which, you know, it was a step up. But like,
So having to sleep on the floor every third night wasn't a bad gig.
wasn't a bad gig, and he was cool about it. And you know, like I slept way better on the floor than I did in the bed with somebody else, where you're just nervous about touching each other all night.
Because you didn't want to be
So-
gay.
Yeah,
And now it's like, that's stupid. Like,
So
again, I was 4 minutes on the floor, and I was like, no, this is fine. I'll
Yeah.
snuggle. I'll get in bed with anybody
right.
because I ain't gay. And you know,
Yeah, because
and I'm like-
you find out that does not turn you gay.
no, yeah, you find out
either
you
gay
can't,
or
you
not.
cannot. Yeah, exactly. So that didn't bother me.
So, yeah. So then somehow we're driving through Alabama, and it was like one of these things where we were supposed to sleep closer to the venue or something. The hotel fell through. So we're like, let's just get on the road, get into the next show. And just like whoever could drive, the 4 of us just dropping off. We're like, I can't go anymore. So we're like, we got to get a hotel. So we find a hotel that's like advertising open. This is before the internet, so you couldn't like book something ahead of time. We had to book that
There was no William Shatner and
there was
Expedia.
no William Shatner. There was not. You would just like we had this book. It was like a phone book of truck stops and hotels, and so
Yeah.
you just be like, Alabama, we're west, we're on I-10. Here's where you go, and then so found this hotel, and it was dirty, like it was kind of dated and kind of dirty when we got in there, but we're all so freaking exhausted. So I just remember like all I remember is being like, yeah, it's kind of dirty, I'm going to bed. It was Sonny's night to sleep on the floor, so Keith gets a bed, I get a bed, and then we have to wake up at a certain time, so I don't remember we set an alarm or had him call us, but like I remember as it goes off, I open my eyes and there's a pube on my pillow. So I'm just like, it could be mine, right? This
Sure.
could
Who knows what
sure.
you're doing?
But
an
then
hour
I just
earlier.
like start to look around and I'm like, there's like something all over this headboard. I don't know what that is. There's another hair and another pube. And I just kind of jump out of bed and I'm like, oh my God. Oh. And I look down where Sonny is, dead asleep. And there's like a smashed ketchup packet. It looked like blood had come out of his head. There was like a smashed ketchup packet that I traced to under the bed and just squirted out. And about 5 bullets right next to his face. So I'm just like, oh, everybody get up, get up. Oh. And just like we're all just like looking around, taking stock of the room. There's like underwear, someone else's underwear in a drawer, like all that particle board stuff of all the furniture was just chipped, just crap all over, hair everywhere, just spilled food and like had not been cleaned, like had been abused and not been cleaned multiple times, this hotel. And so the thing that happened out after that, I don't even think we took a shower because we were just like so grossed out. We're just like, let's just get in the bus. And so Keith and I were like, Sonny, you never have to sleep on the floor again, okay, buddy? You never have to sleep on the floor. And he was kind of like, it's all right, guys. I could do it. I could do it again. And we're like, no, Sonny, you have AIDS. You have AIDS.
We're
now.
90% sure you got AIDS.
90% sure you got AIDS. There's needles in the carpet. Like,
Oh my word.
so we're just
You were
like,
staying in like a straight like flop house.
yeah. And so that was the joke. Like he kept on being like, nah, man, I'll sleep on the floor. And we'd be like, no, dude, you got AIDS.
No.
You got AIDS from that hotel. No. So we never let him sleep on the floor again. It was always
Oh.
Keith and I switching back and forth.
You want to hear a crazy hotel story that I haven't thought about in 20 years?
Okay.
So we go to a hotel and it was like a Night's Inn. Have you ever stayed at a Night's
Yeah,
Inn?
they're real quality. I stayed in one. I stayed in one with my wife, and they were
Oh,
like, "Well, we only got
no.
one room." It was the only hotel. Like it was like a terrible thunderstorm. Got forced off the highway. Only hotel. Like only light we could see. So we like drove to this. It's like in 2 feet of water. We get out. The guy's like, "We only have one room, but it's flooded," and we're like, well, can we see it? And honest to God, like there was a high part of the room and then a low part because like the concrete
course.
wasn't even. And the low part, you had to walk through 6 inches of water to get to the beds. But we're like, it's not going to get any better. Like it's going to rain like this all night. And so we went to sleep and somehow
Unbelievable.
missed the fact that there was frogs swimming in the water.
Oh my gosh.
So woke up because we're like, it sounds like the
To
frogs
croaking.
are in the
Yeah.
room
Yeah.
because they were.
Oh
They
my
were.
gosh.
There were like 5 frogs in there with us.
So when the guy said it was flooded, it probably wasn't flooded from that night. It's probably flooded on the huge, just
I
standing
know.
water in there.
It was like half swamp.
And the guy's like,
So
well,
I
I'll give it
would-
to you for 20% off. And you were like,
I think he
sold.
did give us a discount too.
But it
we're
should have
just
been
like,
free. This should have been like
Exactly.
$10 to stay in there.
Well, somebody had to go clean it too.
Oh.
After that, they're just like, we got to clean up the frog room. Dang it! Who rented that out?
Right. We need the billage pump.
Get
All
in
right,
there.
Daryl, go get the billage pump.
All
Go
right,
get
I
your
wanna hear
waiters.
Your
Go get
night's
your
in
waiters
story.
on. We got to go clean room 16. So we go in. We're staying at this Knights Inn. This place puts us up there. This Knights Inn is so nasty that, like, on the inside, it's painted because it's called the Knights Inn. On the inside, it's painted around the room like it would be a castle. So
Uh-huh.
painted on the wall would be like the bricks, like you're looking out at a joust, like a jousting match. Yes,
In the hotel room.
in the hotel room. So like where normal hotels have like really crappy starving artist paintings in there.
Mhm.
This had no pictures on the wall. Someone had come in and painted on the wall, like, oh, the plasters come away and now there's some brick exposed around a window, and the window is overlooking a joust. Or, or another window that was painted and it was like, you see a jester. Something
Uh-huh.
like that. That's what was like in this place.
Was it good painting? Like, had it been done
No,
well?
no,
It
it
was
was
like
it was like a
somebody's high
6th grader
school-
did it. Yeah,
Oh my
yeah. And so we pull up, and it's also the type of hotel. So there's the hotels that are up in buildings, and you take the elevators to the floors, and then there's the hotels that, or let's call them motels, that there's like a bottom floor and a top floor, and then the walkway is on the outside.
Uh-huh.
Like you're not covered; it's not a hallway. And then there's the ones that it's just a strip of hotel rooms. It's just like
Yes.
a ranch style. And then there's people living there. Like
It's
that's
like
where
Schitt's
they
Creek.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Schitt's Creek. Exactly. That's exactly the style that I'm talking about. And then people are living there. They're paying weekly. So we pull in. We got like our van and a trailer, and we pull in, and there's like people like. So let's say we get room 10 and 11. Like rooms like 13 and 14 were out barbecuing and like sitting out.
They
on,
brought their own
like-
barbecue, or they lived
No,
there.
they lived there.
Uh-huh.
So like everyone who lived there was hanging out, like Melrose Place. And we pull in there and they're like, who are these guys? They're looking at us like, are you kidding me? Like these people actually chose to stay here. And so we go inside. It was crazy. And so we go inside, we're in there for a little bit, and we hear like a fight outside, like the yokels that are living there. Somebody gets in a fight, there's yelling and screaming. We're just like, dude, should we get out of here? Like, let's just get back in the van and let's just start driving. All of a sudden there's a knock on our door. This is God's honest truth. There's a knock on the door.
Uh-huh.
I'm taking a dump and knock on the door, and I hear a woman's voice. No, I take it back. I wasn't. Johnny Hale. I was taking a dump in Albuquerque when we found out that there had been a suicide in our hotel room.
What?
I didn't tell you this story. Yes, I
No,
did tell you.
This
I
is
did.
what the episode is about hotels,
yeah, we're not going relationships anymore.
not relationships.
So the suicide one, I'll go back to it because I swear I told this story, but
On here?
yeah, I thought
I
I
don't
did.
think
Maybe
so.
not. Maybe it was on my other podcast, but
Also, I want to hear
So-
about saying when he opened the wrong hotel room door. We can talk about that on the Patreon part.
I don't know that one. I don't know that
man.
one. You can tell that story. You can tell that
It
story.
was on the Holy Roller Tour.
I don't remember that one. So
right,
with this
keep
one,
going.
so I'll finish up this story and then we'll talk about the other ones on the Patreon, the suicide and whatnot. So I'm laying in the bed. So that's what it was. I was laying in the bed. There's a knock and there's like a woman. If you've ever seen like the movie The Strangers, there's just like a woman at the door. She's like, "Hey, is so-and-so here?" And I think Nate answered the door and he's like, no, like, can I help you with something? And she's trying to look past him. Like she's this like little short, woman. And she's trying to look around him, like over his shoulder. And he's like, "Can I help you with something?" She's like, "Well, so-and-so's not here." He's like, "No, there's no so-and-so. Like we just rented the room. Like we're here." And she goes, I think I forgot something on the back of in the bathroom. Like I may have forgotten something. And so Johnny Hale was like in the bathroom and he hears her too. And all of a sudden he comes out holding like this tiny little like leopard print, like nighty, like just like this sexy lingerie that there was like nothing to it. And it was on a hanger on the back of the bathroom door. And so he comes out with the hanger and just like deadpan. He's just like, "Is this what you're looking for?" She's like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." She takes it and she leaves. And we were just like, what in the world just happened? Like, what? Like the cleaning staff didn't like check the back of the door. I mean,
Or
at least to see if
clean.
there is even, like a towel hanging, like a dirty towel. But no, it's this lady's nightie. And
Yeah.
it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. So that was that bathroom story.
Is that the worst hotel you ever stayed in?
No, the worst hotel I ever stayed in was not during the Insiders. It was a family trip.
Oh no.
Was the worst.
Well, that's good.
I mean,
It's training.
we had another one that was pretty bad. We had, when we were out with, it was us, Full Zandura, and I want to say Squad 5-0, maybe it was Squad. We've been out for a while, and we played some church that just undercut everything. Like they told us, "Hey, we didn't make enough per head that we thought we were going to make, so we're not going to be able to pay you guys, what we agreed to."
Did you guys
So
call
we're-
that getting broed?
No,
Oh.
we just called it getting screwed.
We picked that term up from some other band because they were like, "Yeah, it's called getting broed." Because they always bring you in. They're like, "Okay, brother, we just really want to talk to you about. We prayed about this.
Forgiveness.
We did really think it was going to be better, but brother, if you could just help us out a little bit." So we were like, "Oh, you got broed."
And
Go
so
on.
the place, so yeah, we got broed, and so they like gypped us on like money or whatever. I think they had like whatever we were supposed to have for dinner. Here's the thing, people. You've heard us talk about riders and stuff, and I think Reese talked about it at the beginning on one of the first podcasts. I know I did too, where when you start off, you kind of want to be like punk rock, and you're like, we're not going to do this. We're not going to have these riders like you hear of Van Halen, where they need green M&Ms only, and they need 5 Avion waters, and they need all this stuff. And so when you go out on your first tour and you think to yourself, like, well, we don't need any of that stuff. We're just going to go, we're going to play, and hopefully they just enjoy the music. Well, then you realize, 2 weeks in that you have diarrhea because every city across America has a different, like, chlorine levels and fluoride levels and all this stuff in their city water treatment. And so your system is constantly drinking new water if you're drinking tap water every single day. So all of a sudden you realize like, oh, in our rider, we need to have bottled water because if we have Aquafina, then we're just used to Aquafina. There's nothing in there. And then it goes to the next thing. If you don't say what you want to eat every night, people will either give you pizza or spaghetti.
Or lasagna. The Costco lasagna tray.
Yeah. So every single night, like think of that. You're on the road for 2 months at a time. You're playing 6 shows a week. You're away from your family. And every night is pizza, spaghetti, or lasagna.
Which
so then,
may be the only meal you get that day. Like you're not going to wake up in time for breakfast.
Yeah.
You just, you don't get enough
can't
sleep.
afford
you get
it.
6 hours of sleep. Yeah. The hotels now, I don't know if it's because we're staying in better hotels, but now it seems like a lot more have breakfast than they did.
Not anymore, not because of COVID. They all canceled that. So everyone is like, nope, COVID shut all that down. So it's like they'll have like the packaged muffins. They won't have like the good, like a hot breakfast or something like that.
That's got to come back.
Yeah. And so then you start to put in your rider like, you know what, maybe it's easier if people, so then what the insiders did is we called promoter friends of ours and we were like, hey, we're almost like a survey. Like, would this help? And they're like, absolutely it'd help. Like if we knew that the insiders were coming on a Friday night and on Friday nights, you guys get grilled chicken with roasted vegetables, that makes it easy for us. We just go buy it. Otherwise, we're trying to guess what you guys want.
Oh, that's so nice.
Everybody likes spaghetti, so why not just make spaghetti? And it's easy, and we can make a bunch of it for cheap. So we started asking people, and we actually found that it was easier if we gave them a menu. So all these things that when you start off like, hey, we don't want to be like these punk rock, like, or not punk rock, we don't want to be these divas. It ends up, there's a reason. Now, mind you, only green M&Ms and stuff, that goes over the top. But we would say, hey, we need bottled water. And we, if it's Monday night is breakfast night, so we would have breakfast for dinner. And Tuesday would be chicken with vegetables. And so it just made it easy. So with that being said, I totally forgot where I was going with that story. I have no
You're
clue.
talking about the worst hotel you'd ever stayed in.
Oh, yeah. So the church had like gypped us on dinner. Like they had like screwed us over for dinner. I remember that. And we were like, whatever, like we'll just play the show. Played the show. I remember it being a good turnout. Like I remember it being a good show. And that's why I was kind of confused as to why we got gypped money-wise. Because it was like, well, this doesn't make sense. So then the promoter takes us to our hotel. And it is like the type of motels that people get murdered at. And we've all had the stories. You just told the story about finding bullets and all this stuff on the ground. We each get our hotel rooms. And as soon as we show up, Frank Lenz, the drummer from Fold, he was like an older guy. He was like, I'm not doing this. He's like, this place is disgusting. I'm not staying here. This was before Uber and stuff. So he took a cab and he took Fold Zandura like money from their merch or whatever. He's like, I'm going to another hotel. I'm not staying here.
Yeah.
And we were all like, oh, Frank, come on, man, blah, blah, blah. He's like, nope, not doing it. So he leaves. And so for the next hour, us, Fold, and the other band that we were with, I think it was either Squad or it was Dear Ephesus.
Mm-hmm.
We're like in our hotel rooms and everyone is finding different things. So in like one hotel room, I think what pissed him off is he pulled the covers back and there was blood.
Holy hell, dude.
Like dried blood, not fresh blood, but dry blood. So it was almost like someone had their period or something in bed and then they just didn't change the sheets. And so everyone was finding all this stuff in all these hotel rooms. It was just disgusting. Man. Someone had like cigarette butts, like on their nightstand, all this. So John Hale, being the tour manager, like goes into the front, tells the lady, hey, we're not staying here tonight. This is disgusting.
Correct.
we want our money back. She wouldn't give us the money back because we weren't the people who booked the hotel.
Oh my gosh.
So then John's trying to like get a hold of the promoter, and the promoter just basically dropped us and was like a Simpsons character, like, haha, yoink, like pulled a fast one on you and booked it.
Oh my
So Johnny, for like the
gosh.
next, like I said, like hours trying to get a hold of this promoter, finally gets the promoter to come back after like threatening to call like the Better Business Bureau, like all this stuff. The money is refunded to the guy. And then we tell the guy, like, you have to get it. Like, you gypped us on dinner. You gypped us on what we got paid tonight. And you gypped us, you skimped on hotel rooms. Like, this is unacceptable. And
Yeah.
like I said, because we were like, this isn't adding up. Like, you're scamming us because the show was good and there was a good turnout. And so the guy ended up getting us, actually, what he ended up doing was, what we ended up doing was just taking the money for the hotel rooms, and then we just left. And so we went and I think we went to another hotel. Somehow in it, we got Frank back. So Frank, whether we drove to a hotel of our choosing and just got rooms, or we
Yeah.
went to the whatever hotel Frank was at, and then we got
Yeah.
rooms. But that was that. That was the worst one we'd ever been to while on tour.
That's pretty freaking bad, dude.
Yeah,
We-
it was bad.
We I think in the band, the place we stayed at in Alabama was bad.
Well, hey,
had
let's stop this.
Okay.
Let's bring the free to an end. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the free session of the Pickle and Boot Shop. We get you a little taste of the pickle. You get to walk around, try on some boots. But this is all coming to an end now. We're going to say goodbye and have a good time. And check out the Pickle and Boot Shop Diabolical discussion page on Facebook. We don't really run a Facebook page too good. We're really bad at it.
Yeah.
But if you go to the Pickle and Boot Diabolical discussion page, it's a fan run page. It's freaking hilarious. We comment on the stuff. They post tons of things on there. If you're not a Patreon member, they talk about stuff that might be on it. So you might be able to get clued in or included in some of the inside jokes and stuff like that. So check that out. Where else can they find us?
They can subscribe to us on Buzzsprout, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Pandora, whatever. It does help if you subscribe. It helps us greatly. So even if you don't want to support us monetarily, do that. It helps. And also, anytime you listen to the Insiders or 5 Iron Frenzy, it also helps.
Yes.
You can hit us up on Twitter at capital P, capital B, Oot Shop, or at Pickle Boot Pod, which is one of our interns. I'd also like to give a shout out to our other intern, Brandon Ebel, and to say thanks to Dante, our editor and producer at
Rock Candy.
Rock Candy. Holy cow, I forgot that for a second. You can email us at pickleandbootshop@gmail.com. Spell that all out. And you guys can always sponsor this train wreck of a podcast by going to Patreon. And for less than a cup of a coffee a day, or the price you would pay to feed an entire impoverished village, you can hear extra footage of Joe and I telling the same stories over and over again. So some of the bonuses for leveling up are we can write a theme song for you. We'll leave your voicemail. The one that most people
nude
get,
photos.
nude photos. That's one of them. I wear a nude bodysuit and I send you photos just of anything. Like I'll take a picture of my neighbor's cat, but I'm wearing the bodysuit while I take the pictures.
I like
It's
to
really
do.
cool.
I like to do scrotum puppets, and then take pics and videos of that. And so if you're a
I'm trying to
subscriber,
keep it clean. You're
no
like,
need.
Yeah,
No
I
need. We
take
need to tempt them. We need
I
to
take
tempt
my
them.
scrotum and I show it to 9-year-olds.
I turn it into a giraffe. I make it look like a bunch of, like I'm holding a bunch of suckers in my hand.
Oh my God.
I don't know what that means. Bunch of Tootsie Pops. So anyway, you guys, you can also reach us on Instagram. We are Pickle and Boot Shop or Pickle and Boot Podcast. And like I said, on Facebook, we check those often. We get back. I have tons of conversations going with tons of listeners. It is awesome. It is fun. If you cannot pay, if you don't have that in your budget, there's absolutely nothing wrong. I would not be able to afford that either. But if you cannot afford it, the one thing that you can do is if you have gotten a laugh, or if any of these stories make you chuckle or make you think, and the one thing that you can do to repay us is do a review on whatever streaming service you listen to for your podcast. Leave a review for us. It just helps with algorithms and whatnot. Please give us good stars. I guess it doesn't matter. I'm not going to tell you to give us good stars. If you don't like it, give us 1 star. But do what you do, but just leave us a review. That would be great. Again, that works with the algorithm. And call sponsors and demand that they sponsor our show, Trojan. We want Trojan as a sponsor. So, call them and hound them. So that we can be Trojan Presents Joe and Reese's Pickle and Boot Shop.
I just want somebody from the Trojan Corporation to explain to me how those things work. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know it's for sexual intercourse.
Yeah. Baby.
I know that I've had sexual intercourse twice.
Yeah.
And I've had 2 kids, so I'm interested in not having any more kids.
Yeah. I have 2 kids. I think I've had it 3 times.
Okay. Good on you.
Yeah. So.
All right.
All right, you guys. See ya.
For more shows like this one, visit rockcandyrecordings.com.